Hello guys, and here's Z. Today I'm going to be making my predictions for the 2023 NFL season. So, I'm going to do week 1 and week 2 in this episode, and then I'll just go so on, so on. Okay, so starting in week 1, Jacksonville versus Indianapolis. I'm taking Jacksonville with this one. Easy win for them, going 1-0. Colts going 0-1. Andrew Richardson's NFL debut. I don't think he's gonna, It is against the Jaguars. They did make it to the playoffs, so I think they will have the win there. So, and next we got the Bengals versus the Browns. Joe Burrow versus Deshaun Watson. I don't think Deshaun Watson's really gonna perform that well, especially because it is against the Bengals. So I'm gonna say the Bengals are gonna win this one. And next we got the Ravens versus the Texans. CJ Stroud's NFL debut. I don't think he's really gonna do. He's gonna win against the Ravens because the Ravens made the playoffs last season. So Ravens are going to take the win in this one. Raiders versus the Broncos. Jimmy Garoppolo having his debut in Las Vegas, and I think he's going to get the dub there. And what I think is the best matchup in this week is the Dolphins versus the Chargers. It is game of the week. And I'm going to take LA here. I really think LA is going to do really good this season. The Chargers, of course, have Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Austin Eckler. So I think they'll do pretty good. Buffalo versus the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, NFL debut with the Jets. I don't think he's gonna beat Josh Allen in the squad, so I'm gonna go Buffalo there. And another great matchup, first game of the year, is Kansas City versus Detroit. And KC just won the Super Bowl, so I think they're gonna take the dub here. If they're faced either like the Bills or Bengals, I think they'll maybe take the dub. Also, another decently good matchup, the 49ers versus the Steelers. And 49ers made the NFC Championship, so I think they'll get back on track with that. Also, another good matchup here. Titans versus the Saints. Derek Carr's debut with the Saints, and I think he's going to get the win. Eagles versus Patriots. I think the Eagles are going to get that win. Cardinals versus Washington. And I think Washington's going to win it. Cardinals obviously did not have the best season last season, especially with Kyler Murray injured, DeAndre Hopkins suspended for 6 games, and DeAndre Hopkins is now gone. J.J. Watt retired. I actually don't know if he retired yet, but they're not looking too good right now, so I'm going to give Washington the win. Carolina versus Atlanta. Bryce Young making his debut, and I think he's going to get the win. I think he's going to be the only rookie to get a win in his debut in 2023, since Stroud and Richardson cannot do that. And Levis lost against the Saints. I don't think he's going to start, though. Tampa Bay versus Minnesota, and I think Minnesota is going to get back on track of where they were last season. Hopefully not barely winning this game. I think they're going to get a pretty good win off Tampa Bay. Green Bay versus Chicago. This is a pretty good matchup, I will not lie. But I think Green Bay still owns the Bears. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a Packers fan. Like, I'm filled with Packers stuff. But I still think they're going to get the win because the Bears, of course, they had the number 1 overall pick, but they traded away, so they're technically the worst team of last season. So, yeah. LA versus Seattle. I think Geno Smith will get back into his rhythm that he was last season, especially DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and Jackson Smith-Njigba. Yeah. And ending with Dallas and New York. And I think this is the game at night, Sunday night. Game we've been waiting all day. I think the Cowboys will have another good season. So I think they're going to get that win. And that concludes week 1. Now going on to week 2. Starting off with Kansas City versus Jacksonville. One of the first good matches of the season. So I think KC is going to barely pull it off against Jacksonville. Bengals versus Ravens. I honestly think the Bengals are just going to dominate the season again with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Tyler Higbee, and all those guys. And Joe Mixon, too. And whoever else they have on their team. They don't have Jesse Bates anymore, but I know they have whoever they have, so yeah. Next matchup, we got the Raiders versus the Bills. And I think this is an easy decision here, as the Bills are going to take the win over here. The Chargers versus the Titans. I think the Chargers will get away with it. We'll get the win. Colts versus the Texans. I think the Colts here will get the win. Psych! CJ Stroud is going to get his first NFL career win. And that moves the Texans up to the 8th seed. Dolphins versus the Patriots. I think the Dolphins will definitely win this one. Cleveland versus the Steelers. I think Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper, and Nick Chubb will. This is the week where they finally will get things together, especially after a hard matchup against the Ravens last week. So I think the Browns were going to win that one. Dallas versus the Jets. I think the Cowboys are going to win this one. Aaron Rodgers still not figuring out how to win in New York. Washington versus Denver. Now, I think this is actually a pretty good matchup. And you guys are going to hate me for this, but I'm going to give Broncos the win. Because Commanders, I don't like them. What the fuck names their... I mean, who the heck names their franchise to Commanders? I'm just saying. Next matchup, we got the Vikings versus the Eagles, again, in primetime. I think, honestly, if Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins show off this week, I think they might get the win. But Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, all those guys, DeAndre Swift, Devontae Smith, I think they're going to crush the Vikings again. And they're going to win. Bears versus the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers will edge out on this one. Green Bay versus Atlanta. I think Green Bay will get this win. Atlanta's still not doing so well. Seattle versus Detroit. I think the Lions are going to win this one. Seattle I think they might fall from here. San Francisco versus LA. LAR, Rams. I think the 49ers are going to win this one. Cardinals versus Giants. I'm going to give Giants the win here. And then Saints versus Panthers, our last matchup of the episode, and I'm gonna give the Panthers the win here. I think Bryce Young he has some pretty good weapons with Adam Thielen. Who else? Who is that one guy? Yeah, he has DJ Chark and Terrence Marshall and Laviska Shenault. And that concludes our video, and I'll see you tomorrow for week 3 and 4.